dry earth and the distant hum of cicadas. On these dusty streets life moved at a slow, deliberate pace, but not for Danny. He was a young man with a charming smile and a secret that weighed heavily on his heart. Danny hurried through the bustling marketplace, weaving through the throngs of people with practiced ease. His heart pounded in his chest, a drumbeat of guilt and desire that echoed in his ears. His mind raced with thoughts of his wife Abina and the life they had built together. She was the rock of his world, the mother of his unborn child and the one person he had vowed to protect and cherish. But today, like many days before, he was late for a rendezvous with his mistress, also named Abina. The irony of their shared name was not lost on him, and it only added to the complexity of his emotions. Danny loved his wife deeply. Her gentle nature and unwavering support had been his anchor in the stormy seas of life. She was the embodiment of grace and strength, and he knew he was lucky to have her. She was the mother of his unborn child, a symbol of their future together. Her smile could light up the darkest of days, and her laughter was a melody that brought him peace. But the other Abena, his mistress, held a different kind of power over him. She was a force of nature, a whirlwind of passion and ambition that left him breathless and yearning for more. Abena was fire, a blazing inferno of desire and determination. Her eyes sparkled with dreams of a life far removed from the confines of their rural village, a life filled with the bright lights and endless possibilities of Lagos. She yearned for the excitement and opportunities that the city promised, a stark contrast to the simplicity of village life. Danny had promised to take her there, to build a life with her away from the judging eyes of their community. He had whispered sweet promises in her ear, painting vivid pictures of a future where they could be together without fear or shame. But deep down, he knew that these promises were built on a foundation of lies and deceit. As he hurried through the village streets, Danny's mind was a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. He was torn between his love for his wife and his desire for his mistress, between the life he had and the life he dreamed of. The weight of his deception pressed down on him, and he knew that sooner or later the truth would come to light. News traveled fast in the village, carried on the whispers of gossiping neighbors. In this close-knit community, secrets were a rare commodity. The villagers thrived on stories, each tale growing more elaborate with each retelling. The air was thick with anticipation, as if the very wind carried the weight of unspoken truths, and the rustling of the mango trees. The leaves seemed to murmur secrets of their own, adding to the symphony of whispers that filled the air. It was as if the entire village was alive with a hidden energy, a pulse that beat in time with the rumors. Abina, Danny's wife, had heard the rumors. They reached her ears like a distant drumbeat, growing louder with each passing day. She couldn't escape them. No matter how hard she tried, they followed her, a constant reminder of the uncertainty that now clouded her life. She had seen the way her husband looked at Abina, a mix of longing and fear. His eyes betrayed him, revealing a depth of emotion that words could never capture. It was a look that spoke of forbidden desires and unspoken regrets, a silent confession that cut through the facade of their daily lives. Her heart ached with a pain as sharp as a thorn. Each whisper was like a dagger, piercing her soul and leaving her breathless. She felt as if she were drowning in a sea of doubt, each wave pulling her further from the shore of certainty. She confronted Danny, her voice trembling with a mixture of anger and hurt. The words spilled out of her, a torrent of emotion that she could no longer contain. She demanded answers, seeking to unravel the tangled web of lies that had ensnared them both. He denied it, of course, his words smooth as honey. He painted a picture of innocence, his calm demeanor a stark contrast to the storm raging within her. But his eyes, those betraying eyes, told a different story. They flickered with a truth that his lips refused to speak. But Abena knew the truth. She could see it in the way he avoided her gaze, in the hesitation that lingered in his voice. It was a truth that gnawed at her, refusing to be silenced. She knew that the whispers were not just idle gossip, but a reflection of a reality she could no longer deny. The whispers continued, growing louder, until they became a deafening roar that Abena could no longer ignore. They echoed in her mind, a constant reminder of the betrayal that had shattered her world. She knew that she had to face the truth, no matter how painful it might be. The time for whispers was over. It was time for the truth to be spoken. The air crackled with tension as Abena stormed into Abena's hut. The two women faced each other, a whirlwind of emotions swirling between them. Abena, her eyes blazing with righteous fury, demanded answers. Abena, her voice dripping with venom, taunted her. She revealed the promises Danny had made, painting a picture of a future that would never be. Words turned into shoves, then into blows. The hut became a battlefield, the air thick with the sounds of their struggle. The fight ended as quickly as it began. Dust settled over the village square and the echoes of the altercation faded into the distant hum of the evening. The villagers who had gathered to witness the confrontation slowly dispersed, murmuring amongst themselves about the events that had just unfolded. Danny lay on the ground, his leg twisted at an unnatural angle. His face contorted in pain. He tried to move, but the agony was too much to bear. The dirt beneath him was stained with the sweat and blood of the struggle, a stark reminder of the violence that had erupted. Abena stood over him, her chest heaving, her hands shaking. Tears streamed down her face as she looked at the man she once loved, now broken and helpless. The weight of their shared history bore down on her, each memory a dagger to her heart. The silence that followed was deafening, broken only by Danny's groans of pain. The village, usually alive with the sounds of daily life, seemed to hold its breath, as if the very air was thick with the tension of what had transpired. Abena, her anger spent, fled into the night. Her footsteps echoed in the stillness, each step taking her further away from the scene of the fight, from the man she could no longer face. The darkness enveloped her, offering a temporary escape from the turmoil within. She couldn't bear to look at him, at the wreckage of their lives. The promises they had made to each other now lay shattered, like the bones in Danny's leg. Abena's heart ached with the weight of their broken dreams, and she knew that nothing would ever be the same again. Danny was taken to the village clinic, his leg set in a crude cast. The healer worked diligently, but the tools and resources were limited. As the healer wrapped the bandages, Danny's mind wandered to the choices that had led him here, to this moment of pain and regret. As he lay there, staring up at the thatched roof, the weight of his betrayal pressed down on him. The thatch above seemed to blur as tears filled his eyes. He thought of Abena, of the love they once shared, and the promises he had broken. The future seemed uncertain, and the path to redemption, if it existed, was shrouded in darkness. Days turned into weeks. Danny lay in the clinic, his body healing, his spirit broken. Abena, true to her nature, came to visit him. She brought him food, cleaned his wounds, and tended to his needs with a quiet grace that shamed him. One afternoon, as Abena sat by his bedside, her hand resting gently on his, she revealed a secret of her own. "I'm pregnant, Danny," she whispered, her eyes filled with a mixture of hope and trepidation. Danny's heart ached. He had betrayed this woman, this kind, forgiving soul who carried his child. The news of Abena's pregnancy spread through the village like wildfire. The whispers this time were different. They carried a mix of pity for Abena and condemnation for Danny and his mistress. Abena, however, held her head high. She would not be defined by her husband's infidelity. She was a mother, a protector. She would face the future with courage and grace. Her strength, her capacity for forgiveness, humbled Danny. It was a love he didn't deserve, a love that shone brighter than the anger and hurt he had caused. Abena, ostracized by the community, left the village. She sought a new life in the city, far from the whispers and the memories that haunted her. Danny watched her go, his heart heavy with regret. He had lost everything. His wife.